This is the plaintiff, Raymond Smith. He says he was going to renovate a building, and he went to the defendant and paid him for a heavy-duty door. He told him not to order the door until he gave the final okay, because he was waiting on some permits to go through. Sure enough, he was denied. And when he went to get his money back from the defendant, the rude guy told him, get the heck out of his office. He's suing for the $1,670 he's owed. This is the defendant, Dean Lager. He says the plaintiff paid him to purchase and install a door in a building he was working on, and his business partner kept calling him asking when he wanted the thing installed. He special ordered this door for the plaintiff. Now, 3 years later, the guy says he can't use the door and expects a full refund? Come on. He's accused of not budging.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff says he paid the defendant for a door on a construction project he was working on, and he wants his money back. But the defendant says that he has this guy's door in storage, had it for almost 3 years. He couldn't get the proper permits he needed to install the door, and just wants the guy to pick the thing up. It's the case of show him the door.
Thank you, Douglas.
Ma'am, you can have a
All
seat.
right, Mr. Smith, you are suing Mr. Lager and his company for $1,670, a deposit you put years ago on a door that you no longer are buying. What happened here?
I told, when I originally went to the company, that I wanted him to hold off on getting the door until zoning was approved.
Why are you even buying the door if the zoning hasn't
No,
been?
I gave a deposit on a door.
No, but why even do that if zoning hadn't been approved?
Because I anticipated it was going to be approved, and then all of a sudden it got
Right,
changed.
so according to you, you put a deposit, but you asked them not to order the door?
Yeah,
Do you have any
yes.
proof that you asked them not to order the door? Because typically speaking, when you put a deposit and you're ordering something, you're actually ordering something. So is there any notation on your invoice that says do not order until customer calls in or anything to prove what you're saying?
No, not in that.
Did he order the door and say, whatever you do, don't order the door?
Yes, my cousin, who's my partner in business, took the check from, I have a thing.
Were you supposed to wait for him to say, order the door?
No, he said to order the door.
Right, so you guys ordered the door and the door actually came in.
Absolutely.
Do you have the paperwork to show that the door was ordered?
No, but I just have the receipt that he gave me the.
Okay, that's what I mean. And so, what, are you talking about the receipt the plaintiff gave you?
Yeah, he
Oh,
gave
yeah,
me the deposit.
no, I know about that. How long ago did you do this? Why is there no date on the receipt?
Be honest with you, Your Honor, we expected.
I don't care. Why is there no date on the receipt? There's a space for the date. Why wasn't the date filled
There's a
in?
date on it because it usually takes 2 or 3
It
weeks.
doesn't matter. There's a space for the date and the address and everything else. Why don't you just fill in the darn thing? When did you order this? How long ago was this?
About 2.5, 3 years ago.
Okay, where you been for 2.5 and 3 years?
COVID, working, waiting for the zoning.
The zoning denial took 2.5 years?
Yes.
Wow. What zoning was denied? Like, what had you applied for that was denied?
Exterior facade on a commercial building,
Why did they deny you?
because it didn't fit the other properties the way it looks.
What does that have to do with the actual door?
As far as the actual door, that was the door we were going to use. That's why I told them
No,
not to.
I figured that.
Yeah,
but this is why you wait until you have approval before you order a door. So the style of the door didn't fit in? It's the door itself that caused the denial? It's what? You just decided not to renovate at all because they didn't approve what you want.
I never had a receipt from the door. He never ordered the door. I went to his shop and one of his workers said, "There's no commercial door in here."
You went to the store.
Yes.
You picked out a door.
No.
What did you do?
He came over to the store and he asked me, "What kind of door do you want if we order it?" And I never got a door. I never received it.
Why are you giving him money then?
Because I gave him a deposit anticipating
A deposit on what?
on a door, but he didn't order it. I told him not to order it because zoning.
Right, that's the part I need you to prove. Because typically when your side hands a deposit to that side, it's because they want them to do something. That's why they're paying now, because they want something now. So if just wait until you have the approval if it's a problem. But you don't. You pay, and it's years ago, 2.5 years ago. And now, out of the blue, you come up with, I want my money back on, and you, where were you, like, during all this time, weren't you like, hey, get your door out of here? What happened there?
Your Honor, the door was a custom-sized door. It wasn't like a standard type door. So we had to order it, and it took 3 to 4 weeks to get it. It's finally got in.
Where is the door right now?
This is the problem with the thing. The door frame, which I can't use, is buried with all the other stuff I have in my shop. The parts of it we took out and we used for another door for somebody else. But 80% of the door was still there and is buried.
Well, but did you guys like ever call them and say, what are you doing? When are you, what's going on?
Apparently it was called. Yeah, they called like several times. Matter of fact, yeah, after 3 weeks when it came in, the door came in, we called. He said, we aren't ready yet. My partner called again. He wasn't ready yet. Then finally, we waited. We didn't hear from him. Then he said, well, the thing's not going to be done. Well, what am I supposed to do? Eat the door? It was in. The entrance door was a special custom size, especially the hardware. He asked for special hardware for the door, and I got it. And I still got it someplace buried there. But that stuff I can't use, so, you know, it's just...
Well, I have a question for you. When you say the door is custom, you just mean that
special size.
It's a special size. All right, so when the customer doesn't show up and...
No, we called.
Right, and he says, I'm not ready yet, and this goes on. At some point, you decided to just use it for something else. So obviously... Can I talk?
Okay.
So obviously... You had decided, okay, this isn't going anywhere, and the contract's just been, you know, breached. He's just not going to, because the contract was for how much? The total amount, if everything had gone as planned, was what?
I don't have that figure. I'm sorry, Your Honor, I don't have the figure. But I got to
you have like it's like chewing gum and a crayon, and you don't even have a total on this thing. Paid deposit, but no one knows what the total. How much was the total job for?
It wasn't determined yet. Because I told them not to.
You had hired them for installation and the door, according to your complaint. They gave me a price of $1,670 for the door plus additional money for installation. How much additional for installation?
I didn't know at that point. That was just that was the deposit they wanted.
What? Can I just ask you something? Where have you been for 2.5 years? You told me that it's because of the. But did you ever touch base with them and tell them? Because they called you to say what's going on. And what did you say to them when they called you?
They never called me. That's the point.
Well, did you ever call them?
I went to their shop many times asking them for the money back.
No, when did you start going to their shop asking them for the money back? When was the first time you went there?
Probably a year ago or more.
So in those first 2 years or year and a half, what was happening? Did you ever call them and say, hey, this is really taking a long time, I'd like my deposit? But did you say anything, do anything?
The year and a half before that, it was zoning issues and stuff to that
So for
respect.
literally a year and a half, you put a deposit on a door, and then you just didn't call the company in a year and a half?
Yes. That's correct. That's
All
correct.
right, so, and from your perspective, he abandoned the door and breached the contract because he's supposed to have you install it, and he just changed his mind. So this all really comes down to you being able to prove to me that he wasn't supposed to order the door. And then prove to me that you get to breach the contract anyway, because you're paying a deposit on a verbal contract that you guys had to pay X for the door and installation. So you've got to prove to me that you're entitled to the money back and that he should have never ordered the door because, you know, you didn't want the door. That's why you gave him $1,670, so he wouldn't order the door.
Yeah, but that's the zone. It had all to do with zoning. That's the only reason.
How is this not you breaching the contract? You order a door that you have no business ordering. You should be waiting until zoning is done. You jump the gun and you order the door.
I never ordered the door.
Well, then why did you give him $1,670?
That was before I found out about zoning, but they didn't order.
But you didn't find out about zoning for 2 years. It took 2 years for zoning to deny you. So why did you go before finding out about the denial? All it is you're a guy who has remorse that you ordered a door. And now you'd like to be made whole and all of your money go back to you after they've ordered the door, sat around, had it in their inventory and their stock, finally got sick of calling you and then decided that they were just going to use the wood for something else and moved on.
Yeah, but I didn't get any receipts or anything saying they even had a door. They never called me.
Okay, but we know you gave him $1,670
yes.
2.5 years ago.
And I told him not to order the door.
Prove that. Prove that. Prove that and you win. Prove that.
The only way I can prove it is by my word.
Is it?
Yeah.
No. No, that's not true.
Welcome back to the People's Court. The question, does the defendant still have that door? And even if he does he have to pay because the plaintiff can't use it anymore? Let's go back into the courtroom.
I'll tell you how you can prove that. Instead of having $16.70 come out of your hands for absolutely nothing, the $16.70 would have stayed in your pocket. We wouldn't even be here because you're not really ordering a door. When someone hands the money over, you're ordering the door. That's why you're handing the money over, you see? And then it ends up being precipitous on your part, and 2.5 years later, you want your money back, and the answer is no. Verdict for the defendant.
So in this interesting case about a deposit on a door, the plaintiff does not get his $1,670 back. He never got the door. Mr. Smith, what are you thinking right now?
I'm thinking that I got the raw deal.
You heard what the judge told you. She said, prove that you told him not to order the door and you win.
I understand.
You couldn't do it.
It's just one of those things that I can understand that part, but I did not get a door, and I never got a receipt for a door, and I just did what I had to do.
All right, good enough. Well, thank you very much. Okay, let's see what Mr. Lager has to say. He's the defendant. I gather you still have that door somewhere in your stock room, is that right?
Well, the frame is what's the big problem with. It was a special order frame for the doors, entrance doors. So theoretically, it is there, but it's buried because we do a lot of storefront work. So a lot of it could be buried with cobwebs and everything else in front of it by now.
Have you ever had anybody do that before? Give you a deposit on something and say
we've been in business 76 years, and I got to tell you, this is probably the first time I ever had a problem like this.
All right. Well, the judge says you're okay. You
Yeah.
did not do anything wrong.
Okay.
Okay. Good for you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. Same to you. Okay, Harvey. This is a twist on a lawsuit. What do you think? Interesting case.
Well, Doug, the reason the plaintiff lost this case is that the plaintiff did not make things contingent. And that's a key, that if you have certain things that have to happen before you're bound by a contract, put it in writing.
I sold a car with a bill of sale, and it said, as is, no money back, no warranty. And now they're taking me to small claims, and they want their money back. What can I do?
Win. That's your remedy, because anybody can take you to court. Chances are you're going to win.
Right.
Used car sales are always as is.
Yeah.
And you put as is in the bill of sale, so you actually took another step to make sure to protect yourself. What you have to be careful of is that there's nothing that you inadvertently warranted. For example, if you say 4 new tires and you're a complete liar, you would be responsible. If you said, I just put a new transmission and you're a month ago, and that's a lie. So you can't lie. Even in an as-is sale, you can't represent something and have that person detrimentally rely on your representation.
Well, you can say it's a real beauty. And it runs great.
Puffery's
it runs great.
It's a cream puff.
Yeah, the air conditioner blows snowballs.
He told me it was a doll, baby. You know, like none of that matters. That's just
because what it really takes to undo an as-is sale like that is fraud. Effectively fraud.
So it has to be something affirmative that the seller said that you can show as a lie. And I've had those cases before.
Have you?
Strangely, where the new owner took it to the same place that the old owner had taken it to. And the mechanic said, I told him that he had to put in a new blah, blah, blah. And he hadn't put in a new blah, blah, blah. And, you know. And
that could undo the sale.
Yeah, he ended up owing him for some
I wonder
repair.
why this person wants to undo the sale. I mean, if you just overpaid or something, you're out of luck. I mean, no judge or jury is going to say, oh, you paid a little too much.
Well, you also don't get, test drive it before and have a mechanic see it before you buy it.
Pre-purchase inspection.
Yeah. If it turns out, nobody does that because they don't want to spend the $100 and something bucks. And so then they get the car and then they drive it around and then they're like, I don't want this car. Oh, you know.
Thanks for watching. Have a good one.